Hello. Hi, everyone. Here we are. We're live. And welcome to another Plodalong. So we have got my lovely fellow hosts. One day I'll learn how the way to point. I nearly did it right that time. Charlie and Jem. And we have our two wonderful guests. Welcome today.
Charlie and Jem.
And we have Brian and Eric.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm getting some sort of Eric.
Might have to put something in your ears.
Hang on. I'm getting some sort of Eric.
Might have to put something in your
I think that's me.
Oh.
Let me, you guys go on, and I'll get back in if I can, okay?
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll add you back in a minute, Brian. Okay. So welcome everybody who is here in the comments. We'll say hi to a few people first, if that's okay. We've got Ange in. Hi, Ange.
Hi, Ange.
Charlie's here, and Zach, and Jennifer, and Kate, and we've got Laura. Hi. And we've got Sarah. Hi, Sarah. I was like, who just
I saw the concept there, Alice.
Sarah's name then. It's been a long day.
Oh, bless you, Alice.
But we will get there. So, yes. Hello to Eric, and thanks for coming back on the Plodalong. We didn't put you off last year.
Yeah. No, it's such a pleasure chatting with you all about this. And so thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. And we have Anne in saying, Jem, did you see that Brotherless Night? I'm guessing the second half of that sentence is
won the Karl
Shields Prize.
Yay.
I literally screamed when I woke up this morning because it's my favourite book of the year so far. So I was like,
I'm actually really pleased because it's my second favourite on the Women's Prize long list. So now I'll be really happy if that wins the Karl Shields and Soldier Sailor wins.
Then it must be Soldier Sailor's turn to win this, right?
The Women's Prize.
there it is. Eric's always the most prepared out of all of us.
I just realised my books were over there, so I went and grabbed them.
No, because at least you even have the beautiful book stack there anyway.
Hey.
So yeah, that was exciting news. I haven't actually read it yet, but Charlie and Jem, you both loved it. So optimistic that when it comes in from the library, I will also enjoy.
Did you like it, Eric?
I did a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely devastating read. Really emotional and some absolutely terrifying scenes, but so excellent how she creates this family life and shows this larger political conflict and so some absolutely gripping, harrowing scenes. And though just to jump right into it in the controversy, if I was going to make some slight criticisms of it, I did feel the end. Well, I had some issues with the end and where it went to in the end. I felt like it kind of like jumped forward in time and through some events quite rapidly in a way that I found slightly disconcerting. But like overall, absolutely excellent.
It's a bit too rushed for you then.
Yeah, I sort of felt like, I mean, I don't want to like give any spoilers for people who haven't read it, but yeah, I just sort of felt like the end kind of just goes a bit to a place and like a context and some arguments which the rest of the narrative hadn't like prepared me yet for. So
that's fair enough.
But I was really excited and happy to see, that it won the Karl Shields Prize. That was really exciting news.
Do you think that will mean we'll see a different winner to the Women's Prize, or do you think it doesn't matter?
I think, I mean, technically, like the Women's Prize judges shouldn't be taking that into account and thinking of that, though. But you never know. That might be a consideration, and it might be like they might think like, oh well, this has got a prize already, so maybe one of the other books should get it. And certainly, like as a reader and like a fan, like I like to see a nice I mean, it's you know,
Variety.
it's obviously absolutely wonderful when there's a like incredibly brilliant book like Demon Copperhead that just goes and like takes
I always
all the
love it when
awards
you
and
say that.
takes them all. but and so like I don't begrudge when it happens with a book like that. But then at the same time, it's nice to see, you know, more books getting more attention and
Can be only a good thing, can't it? So
yeah.
And saying it's one of her favourites of the year as well. And Kira's saying hi.
Hi, Kira. Yeah. So exciting to see in live time, like lots of people I recognize and comments of them. So it's like, yay, we're all here.
I know.
So, Eric, would you like to give us any thoughts on the shortlist so far? What have you been reading? What have you enjoyed?
All of them here, very studiously. Yeah, so I had actually before the shortlist was announced, I had read all of them, and because I've been following the prize, I think a lot more diligently than I normally do in this year's, because I think I've been kind of motivated since my friend Anna has also been reading all of the books, and we wanted to make videos talking about them, and so that made me even though I was already like really eager to read all the books on the long list, it made me even more excited to read or even more diligent about actually getting them all read. So yeah, I was very happy with the shortlist, and but yay, Brian's back. Hello.
Hey. How's the feedback?
It's fine.
So far, so good.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah, I was just giving my thoughts on the shortlist.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really happy with it all overall. Even though like there was probably a couple I would swap out for different books, but even Restless Dolly Mater, which I know a lot of people were really surprised was on the shortlist. I was pleasantly surprised reading that book and how emotionally involved I got in reading it, and what a powerful book overall I think it is. So though I do think it's more the judges just like giving a nod to this author and recognizing her a bit more, like kind of like Maggie O'Farrell last year of an author that's won the prize before, and saying, you know, they're still producing really quality great work, but I really doubt its chances of actually winning. But you never know, the judges can really surprise you sometimes. So,
if there's enough of them that love it.
yeah. So I was especially happy to see Brotherless Night, Enter Ghost, and River East, River West, and Soldier Sailor really on the short list. I think those are all excellent books. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Eric, and hi to Brian. Everybody
Hello.
says hi. And have you read any of the books on the shortlist yet, Brian?
I have. I think I'm right now, since I'm kind of like my mind's kind of all over the place right now. I've read Soldier Sailor and The Wren, Brotherless Night, and Enter Ghost. I think those are the 4 that are on the short list that I've read, if I'm remembering the short list correctly.
That's
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
solid.
So yeah, I've read those 4, and I've read In Defense of the Act, which didn't make it, and I read And Then She Fell. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I read that. I think those are the 6 I've read. I don't think I've read a 7th. So those are the 6 I've read. Of those, Soldier Sailor is by far my favorite, and that would be so that would obviously be my choice for the winner in that regard. I just really was immediately like into the book. Maybe it's because my daughter just had a baby like in the beginning of March, and so I was like already thinking, you know, mothers and children and whether or not husbands were doing their jobs in that regard. But that really worked. That really I thought was just great. I don't think I've been as emotionally invested or felt as intense emotions surrounding a book for a long time as that. It was, you know, there are lots of books I read where I think, oh, well, you know, that book was intellectually engaging. And it's not that Soldier Sailor wasn't. it was that it was just so kind of emotionally raw, I thought, and powerful, and in ways that made me think about, not just, was my son-in-law doing his part, but did I do my part as a father when our kids were small, and kind of recognizing, I think almost maybe from the other side of that, all the ways in which I was obnoxious, all the ways in which, maybe my wife was just too willing to do it so that she didn't have, so that, it was done the way she wanted it done, kind of a thing. So I really thought it was really good and really effective at creating that. So I really liked it.
Excellent.
I'm really glad to hear you say that, Brian, because we don't always agree.
We almost never agree.
So it's like, yes, wonderful.
Wait, what is the book I'm supposed to disagree with you about that I just finished?
Night, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, okay. So do we want to talk about?
Do it, Brian. Break my heart.
Go for it.
So I just made, like, on my channel a whole video about historical fiction. How I really, like, for a long time said I didn't like it, and then said, maybe I do. And then I read this book, and I thought, this is one of the problems I have with historical fiction, and it's not the book's fault, really. It's really me, that at some point I just want it to be history. I just want to read the history. I don't want. I was way more curious about, the Sri Lankan Civil War and the Tamil Tigers and that whole dynamic than I was about the characters. And the longer I've thought about it, the more I realize that's merely a me problem and not a book problem with the book. But there were just parts of it I thought, well, I'm not sure that was entirely. Well, it just wasn't always interesting to me, and I wanted to get on to what happened and why did that happen and that kind of thing. That's probably my biggest thing. I thought the scene where she says she's going to do something important and then she doesn't, and her brother does, and I kind of thought it felt just a little bit like, I don't know, dragging it out a little bit. And I saw I can't remember who the other reviewer was, but I kind of agreed with him that the writing left him just a little bit cold. It felt a little distant, and I'm not sure that it wasn't on purpose, where the author's trying to have that kind of clinical look at everything, since she was a medical student, doctor. But to me, it didn't always work. There was definitely emotional scenes in the book that I thought worked, and then there were some times where I just thought this feels like it should be a little bit more powerful, and for whatever reason, it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair enough. we might not. Gem's shaking her head.
Right, you two are now banned. Banned.
It's a good thing you didn't have me on last year with Demon Copperhead. That would have been really, really bad.
You would have broken some hearts there. Especially because even I was doing my finger in the wrong direction with Eric.
I know.
Because Eric predicted that one before it was even announced. Like, you predicted it as the winner, didn't you?
Yeah,
I did. I mean, not the wildest choice, because she's the former winner. So, but yeah, still, yes, I did predict it before even the long list was announced. So. I will feel chuffed about that.
Yeah, it's best we don't get into a debate about Demon.
That's last year. That's so last year.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. So we've got TK here as well, and Sarah saying that she's on book 5, so immersed in Soldier Sailor, read most of it in one sitting, and I connect with it so much. I also unexpectedly really loved River East, River West.
Oh, Sarah. Eric, you liked that one, didn't you?
I did. I got really emotionally involved in it, and really felt for this girl and following her journey. And then I thought it was so clever how it then switched to another perspective to show her stepfather's point of view, and how it moved back and forth between those different time periods and different perspectives, and then combined together to tell this larger story about them. And I thought the mother is such a compelling figure. I mean, how we get two different sides of her story, and then she seems this really complex individual who's in part hiding, trying to recreate herself in this new nation, and all of what that the larger things that this like book says about like politics and attitudes towards race and nationality, like yeah. So overall, I thought it was a really striking and wonderful debut novel. So what objections did you have to it?
It's always good, Eric, to have someone with positive opinions.
I'm Mr. Positivity, so
I just thought, oh, the main character, the girl, I just wanted to punch her in the face.
oh.
Well, I found it really, really
Don't hold back,
irritating
Jim.
and obnoxious. And I thought the mother was an awful human.
I have to agree on the mother. I could not stand Sloane. I thought she was
Parent your child.
terrible.
Do you know what I mean? Be a parent.
I think I said that at the grocery store today. So
So yeah, I just didn't get on with it at all, really.
I mean, yeah, they're definitely flawed and complex individuals.
They
but I thought they were so compelling to read about. Like, yeah, personally.
I think that's a bit of a me thing, though. I don't like unlikable characters so much. They need to have like a redeeming quality, and I didn't feel like any of these had redeeming qualities.
I mean, yeah, I disagree that I don't think they're horrible people. I think they're just they had their issues and hang-ups. And she obviously wasn't equipped to be a mother in fully supportive way that she should have been, and but also her daughter had sort of ideals and like aspirations. The way she idealized America and Western culture was something that she had to like learn to disentangle to get out of that mentality, and so yeah, I found it really like gripping and terrifying. Like at the end, like I don't give any spoilers again, but of people who haven't read it, but thinking about like what happens next, and it had me like envisioning like what might happen to these characters like going forward, and that's always a sign to me that I'm really engaged in the story and the characters, and because I want to know what happens next, and I'm sort of like mentally trying to flesh out the story of where it goes beyond the final page. So
Yeah.
I do think that although I didn't massively relate to any of the characters or love it as a book, but I do think that it had a lot of interesting things to say about belonging, and I did feel for Alva by the end about like she hadn't really belonged throughout this book, and sort of seeks that sense of belonging, and doesn't feel like she sort of either belongs in the Chinese culture or with the American children in the book. And I did think it explored that in an interesting way, and I thought it was interesting how like it just played with that quite a lot, and towards the ending as well. But again, I don't want to spoil anything, so yeah. It wasn't a book for me, but it was. I can see why a lot of people are praising it highly. So TK read Soldier Sailor in one go. It was an experience. I don't know if I should recommend it to my adult daughters or anyone else or not.
I did not recommend it to my daughter.
No.
As a new mother, I can't imagine that you did.
Right.
Maybe in a few years, like as validation. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So Claire thinks that her expectations are low of Restless Dolly Maunder, so she might end up enjoying it more, like she did with The Wren.
Which I think I liked that book more than most people did. So.
Well, The Wren.
Yes, I did. Oh,
there we go. We're back to normal Gemma Bryan.
Well, that's good to know. I thought it was really good. So
I thought it was really dull.
fair enough.
I liked the first chapter.
Really, I thought that would be the chapter nobody liked.
Yeah, no, the first chapter I was into it. I really liked Nell, and then went off on a waffle about Karl, and I was just like, no.
I was going to say, Jem messaged me early on in the book and was like, I really like the Wren. Has everybody been like down rating it or something? And I was like, yeah, I don't think you're probably going to like the rest of it.
For me, it was just one of those books where you like kind of have to read along for a while, and you get to that one chapter where it all kind of comes together. And then I thought it worked. Then I thought it was just really kind of brilliant in its way. The chapter where we get from the grandfathers, more or less the only chapter where he tells a story, and it kind of falls all into place. And I can't remember. I think Karl watches the old videotape of him giving an interview, and it just kind of all fell into place. And I thought that was just so well done that, you know, despite maybe some of the tedium, Jem, of the first part of the book, that I thought it was okay. I thought it really worked, and I really liked it for that.
You can definitely tell a quality of her writing, can't you? I don't think any of us could argue that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
Very good quality.
And that's really interesting, because I've seen some readers who really objected to that section from the grandfather's point of view, and felt that was really jarring.
I think she meant it to be a real intrusion, where like you were like, oh, I didn't want to hear from this guy. He's, you know, a jerk, and you know, and here's his POV, and it kind of, I just thought it made us so much the rest of the book kind of make sense with the you know, generational trauma and all those kind of things that one parent does to their child, you know, inadvertently or intentionally, and it kind of just made that whole, the relationship I thought between Nell and Karl made a lot more sense, and it felt a lot more real than it had before to me. But yeah, it was jarring, and I think intentionally so, that to have that voice in the book.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Angela, don't hold back, Jem.
Do I ever hold back?
Come on, Gemma.
Hi, Christina.
And here it's saying, I think this is going back to River East, River West again from the content. So realistic. I think it was amazing. Yeah, I don't know what my thoughts were on that, really. Just that I felt like you could. I think it was foreshadowed for some time in the book.
Me
Laura
too.
also loving how the strands.
Love the River East, River West.
Soldier Sailor is not a new mother read. Congratulations on the new arrival to the family, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
Is it your first
celebration thing for that?
grandchild, Brian?
Yes, it's our first grandchild.
Wow.
Oh, congrats.
I have 7 million pictures on my phone.
Okay.
So.
Wow.
Was it a grandson or a granddaughter?
It's a granddaughter. Her name is Willow Grace.
Oh, that's lovely name.
Yeah, I liked it too. Better than the other names they have chosen. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Oh, that's lovely.
So TK is not inclined to read those two, but enjoyed the Anne Enright and Claire Kilroy the most. Thinks either would make an excellent winner. And my mum is in saying that she enjoyed her reread of The Wren, and enjoyed it much more this time. The first time my mum read it, she read it back to back with Tom Lake, and it didn't stand up so well to Tom Lake. But obviously better on a second read, so that's good.
And she's read more Anne Enright, hasn't she, in the past? I think you said.
Yeah, my mum has read, I think, probably all of the Anne Enright. She does like Anne Enright and Anne Patchett as well.
Yeah, I'd say like it's not my favorite. I've read a number of, not all of Anne Enright's books, but quite a few of them, and it's definitely not my favorite one. But
what is your favorite one, Eric?
It's one called The Forgotten Waltz, which is one of Anne Enright's less popular books, but I think one of her most powerful. It just describes a very intense love affair that goes wrong, but just the psychological complexity of it, and the very thorough way she brings you into their affair is I just found completely engrossing and fascinating. So
I think that's one my mum really liked as well.
oh, good.
There you go then.
Well, she has excellent taste, obviously.
In fact, she
You'll
says
make
my
her day by
favourite-
saying that.
Oh, it is very good. Yay! Well done, Jane.
So I haven't asked this yet, but do both of you have a recent 5-star or new favourite sort of book by a woman that you've really enjoyed lately?
I really liked the long form by Kate Briggs.
Oh, I want to read that.
I really
Actually,
that
maybe if you liked it, I shouldn't read it.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to find it very exciting, Gemma, is what I would say. It's kind of more of like a meditation on the novel and its meaning tied up with a story about a mother with a newborn and making their lives together. And it really just was kind of one of those, I thought, really books that I really like. It's not a puzzle, but it was like a book that made you think about storytelling and the novel itself, and how we interpret, interact with books in a way that I thought was just really great. And I thought the story about the mother and daughter was lovely and compelling as well. So I just really thought it was really good.
That's good.
I like the sound of that.
The potential for the booker, right?
I guess so. It was the only thing. I'm not a big. This is going to be bad later, but I'm not a big prize follower in general. I do like the Women's Prize. I usually read a few books from the Booker Prize. It was up for the Republic of Consciousness Prize, North American prize version, but it didn't even make the short list, I don't think. Or maybe it did and it didn't win. But anyway, it might be Booker eligible. I don't know.
We'll have to look. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm
That's,
gonna
that
go. I'm
sounds like a
googling.
research project for you, Charlie.
I always do that. I've got my-
And Eric, has there been a recent favourite for you?
Yes. So I was just doing my research to see if it would be eligible for the Booker. No, I don't think it would be, because it was published in
April.
April, last year. So
Okay.
that
So yeah, it's
would be eligible for last year's prize.
not. Well,
Sorry, I allowed myself to get
That's okay.
distracted. A favorite recent read of mine is this new novel called Hagstone by Sinead
Oh.
Leeson. And so this is a novel about a remote island. It's not specified what island it is, but an island that's very far off the coast that can't be reached by plane. You can only reach it by boat after several hours of boat journey. And its focus is on a woman who lives on this island, which is fairly sparsely populated, but she has lived there all of her life, and she's an artist, and she's quite an independent individual. She's really focused on her art, and it follows her as she has an affair with a man who lives on the island, but also she gets engaged to do this project where on the island there's a commune of women who are quite reclusive, and who are made up of individuals from all over the world that have gone to live there to just like live as independently as possible. And so it exposed her as she works on this project. I'm trying to write a historical account of these women's commune, and so it's a lot about art and the relationship that individuals have with like larger society, and the degrees to which we can live independently or in small communities or on our own, and how there are different sacrifices and power struggles involved in all of those different levels of living. But also I just found her such like an engaging character, and also this kind of character that is living a kind of life that I know that I personally could never live. Like I think I would find it, I would get way too lonely, like living on this remote island and just like working on my art all the time. But like in an ideal life, like I'd be like, oh yes, I'd love to be on this island and just be an artist all day and go for swims in the sea, and like she often does, and have engage in affairs when I feel like it. And because this is also like quite a sexy novel, like both in some of like the scenes and the affairs that she has, but also I think just sexy in the way of her whole lifestyle of you know, living so independently and yeah, being so focused on her craft and her art, and looking at women's history on this island. And so yeah, I find it really fascinating, compelling, and it's a debut novel, and but by a author and journalist. So she's edited a number of anthologies of Irish women's writing in the past, and she's been a book reviewer and critic for a long time. So she's somebody that really knows her stuff. And yeah, I saw her in conversation with Douglas Stewart talking about this book, and Douglas Stewart revealed that he's also working on a novel that's on an island. So that's really interesting.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really exciting debut, and also I love the cover. It's a really striking.
That is a great cover.
Rocky coast with a individual, yeah, kind of.
It's on Everend. Everyone that's watching, like now or whatever, if this one's on, it's on Everend. So if you've got Everend, you can get it. Yep, it's on Everend. I've saved it already. This one I've spotted.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah, it does. It sounds really good.
I mean, I wouldn't say, saying all that, like, I wouldn't say it's a perfect novel, but it's like she tries to do quite a lot in it. So not to just be like totally positive and adulatory towards it, but I found it a really emotional book that I really connected with, and also I thought it was really clever and like so thought provoking on a number of different levels. So yeah, just add that little caveat.
Like, I'm sure.
Excellent. A few different books being mentioned in the comments, like Clear.
I've got that out from the library at the moment.
Oh, have you?
Such beautiful writing, Karis Davies. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. A few people sort of semi-predicted it for the Women's Prize, didn't they?
Yeah, I was expecting to see it on there, but
yeah.
Sorry.
And a couple of mentions of some of are these the International Booker books as well? What I'd rather not think about. Not a River.
Yeah,
I think.
That's announced soon, isn't it? The winner. Is it? No, is it not? I don't know. I got an email from Booker saying it, but the Booker reminded saying it's going to be not too long till it's announced. Is it?
Yeah, it's a week from now. Yeah, it's going to be quite a fancy ceremony. It's at the Tate Modern in London.
Oh,
so, wow!
Oh, you'll have a lovely time then.
Yeah, that'd be really exciting.
Cool. And Angie's excited about Eric dropping the Douglas Stewart hints.
and loves Douglas Stewart. She's literally obsessed with it.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, it's working on a new novel, so it's exciting.
Oh, very exciting. So moving on from favourite books, we have the Gemma question of the year, which means it's food time on the Plodalong.
Here we go.
And this year we would like to know, Eric, last year we put you on the spot and asked you about favourite pizza flavour.
Oh, well, it was a bad answer. Those figs have stayed with me.
Yeah, Gemma's been traumatised by the
nightmares about figs now, don't you?
We do. We talk about it a lot.
So this year's question is, what is your favourite ice cream flavour? So we'll give you a moment to think about that. Hopefully it's not fig as well, or I think Gem's going to be very upset.
No, but it is another fruit, and I'll jump in because I was thinking about this recently, or like came up recently, because a few months ago I went to, was it a few months ago? I don't know. I went to Venice fairly recently, and the best ice cream I've ever tasted was in Venice. It was well, not proper ice cream, I guess, because it was a pear sorbet, and it was the most sublime thing I have ever tasted. And so when no, it wasn't a few months ago, it was last year, I went to Venice again, and like my top priority was to go and like have pear sorbet again, because it was just such like a mind-blowing experience. But when I went to Venice last time, every ice cream shop I went to, they said, "Oh no, sorry, pear isn't in season." So which like I hadn't thought of, but I guess they make it fresh, and so if it was like out of season, they couldn't make the pear sorbet. So I was very sad, but of course, like I ate loads of other amazing things. Like you can't like not go to Italy and not eat amazing things. Like the first time I tasted Italian pizza, the first Italian city I ever went to was in Florence, and when I had pizza there, I cried. I actually cried because the pizza was so good. I was like, I can't believe that this is, I mean, I grew up in the state of Maine. Going like a glamorous like night out was going to Pizza Hut, and so that was the pizza that I grew up on. So to taste actual proper Italian pizza in Florence, I was just like weeping, because just like, this is so amazing. There wasn't figs on it, that came later, but yeah, it was so good. So yeah, pear sorbet is my favorite ice cream.
That sounds
what about
delicious,
you?
to be fair. You've redeemed yourself, Eric.
There you go.
So Brian, do you
I was tempted to make like a top 5, but I'll just go with coffee. Coffee is probably my favorite ice cream.
Oh no!
All right, how about pistachio almond?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That was my other choice. I couldn't decide, but generally speaking, I'd say coffee. But pistachio almond's pretty good. Usually, when I go someplace, if they have both, I get a scoop of each.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
have the
that sounds
combination.
good. Yeah, that's acceptable. But coffee,
All right. Well, good.
cream?
We've got
No.
another commenter with coffee as well.
No.
Wait, are you objecting because it's coffee ice cream and therefore it has a cream added to it?
No, I just don't like coffee.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
don't like coffee either, so that's kind of my nightmare.
Wow, who knew there were so many heathens who read books? I didn't have any idea.
Yeah, this is my caffeine source.
I forgot you guys are in England, so it's probably tea more than coffee or something like that.
Yeah, I don't drink tea either.
Charlie, you're very much a tea girl, aren't you? But
Yeah,
coffee, I do like coffee.
I do usually have a cup of tea in the afternoon. As a matter of fact, this is kind of my tea time right now.
Oh.
My husband kindly provides me with tea regularly.
Good husband.
I know, he's lovely.
Indeed.
Very well trained, bringing you cups of tea while you're on a line.
I know.
Oh, and can't deal with cold coffee. Oh, dear.
Poor Brian.
Well, I like black coffee really hot when I drink it, but coffee ice cream is delicious. So.
My mum is on team coffee ice cream as well, just to say.
How about coffee on ice cream?
Oh,
I have tried that.
You're making it work.
There's I can't remember what movie there was, but there was a movie where this lady it lives in Paris and it's in French, had subtitles, and I watched it when I was like even more pretentious than I am now back in college. And she went to a cafe and ordered like vanilla ice cream and a cup of espresso and poured the coffee on the ice cream. I thought, well, that seems like the greatest thing ever, and it's really good. So
I have had that.
Sounds disgusting.
I think it's called affogato, isn't it, or something? But yeah, it's good. It's good. My mum says coffee is the only ice cream.
I feel like you get bonus points if Jane likes it. If Jane likes it, I feel like that's a bonus point because Jane is like the mascot of the show. So.
Oh, dear.
We've got Doggy in the background. Hey, Doggy.
Hello.
That's Zelda. She's decided to show off and scratch now. Sorry. It could be worse.
And Jen loves a nice latte as well. And says, yeah, it is an affogato. Affogato. And she says, no, Jennifer, just no.
Agree.
Oh dear. So, shall we test some brains.
Yeah.
I know you're both so
Multiple
looking forward
choice
to this.
though. It's multiple choice, so you're going to be
It is
okay.
multiple choice. And Eric, we're not going to make you name lots of things this time.
Yeah, that was painful.
Don't get stressed.
Yeah, I'm the worst at quizzes.
I'm already sweating, to be honest with you.
Don't say
So.
that. I don't think
So this year, as we have two of you on the plod, we are going head to head in a head-to-head format. And the first thing that you will need to do is come up with a buzzer sound.
This is my favourite bit.
Our viewers will be judging you on your buzzer sounds and picking their favourite. So
it can be a really random word because we have had multiple guests just say random words. So you are completely, if you can't think of a noise, you can just think of a random word.
This is true.
I'm going to go with howdy.
Sorry?
I'm going to go with howdy.
Howdy. That's a good word. I like that. I like that.
It's very on brand. Very on
We can give you a couple more seconds, Eric. Because Ben, should we tell them what Ben did? Was it Ben that said hummus? Ben said hummus.
Ben did say hummus.
Oh.
And then what did I'm trying to remember what the other guest said.
We have had some funny ones. But while you're thinking, Eric, we'll give you a minute to think.
Yeah.
The first round that we do is we're going to give you 5 women's prize, or could be women's prize, could be Booker prize because it's women's versus Booker. And yeah, we're going to give you some authors' names, and hopefully you'll be able to tell us, have they been listed for the women's prize? Have they been listed for the Booker prize? Or both? Or neither?
I feel like I might have a slight advantage here since Brian said before that he doesn't always follow the prizes.
You have an advantage in all ways, Eric.
Oh, we'll read for both of you. I thought I'd give you
But I am also really bad at quizzes, and my mind tends to go blank whenever I'm asked any single question in a pressured, timed environment.
I am very competitive. So, it's a real problem in my house. So
we like this.
Well, you'll buzz in whether you know the answer or not.
That's what I'm probably going to do.
And we will pass it over if it is answered incorrectly, so you know. So that's our first round. Eric, do you have any ideas on your buzzer sound?
Well, now that Ben had said hummus, I might go with another dip. So I might go with guacamole because that's just it's a fun word, isn't it? So.
I like that. That's a good word.
Great
guacamole.
Word. Excellent. So we have howdy versus guacamole, and we'll go women's versus Booker if you're both ready.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. So our first author today is Hanya Yanagihara.
Guacamole.
Oh, who was first, ladies?
I think it was
Eric.
Oh, was it?
You thought Brian.
I don't know.
Let it be Eric. I'm going to be wrong. It's Eric.
Say Eric.
What do you think, Eric?
Well, actually, definitely Booker. But I'm wondering now, like, was it listed for the women's prize? Gosh, I can't remember. So I'm just going to say Booker.
Okay, we'll pass it over to Brian.
Oh, I'm going to say both.
You are correct.
Hey, I got one.
Both. And the same book. It was, of course, A Little Life, and that was shortlisted, I believe, for both prizes.
Oh gosh.
So, all right, our second author. I may have gone a bit obscure here, ladies. I haven't run this list past you, but it is an author that I have read multiple books of. So to me, it wasn't obscure. So sorry, Brian and Eric. Our next author is Scarlett Thomas.
Ooh, I've not even heard of her.
Howdy.
Brian?
Women's prize.
Correct.
Yay.
Well done. And that was in 2008 for The End of Mr. Y. She was longlisted.
I just guessed.
And I have read that book.
That's a good guess.
That was with conviction, though, Brian. I was like,
yeah, very convincing. So next up we have Susan Hill.
Guacamole.
Eric?
Oh gosh, is it both? Booker Prize, I'll say.
We're going for Booker?
Yes.
Or both? Did you say both?
But no, Booker. I'll just say
You
Booker.
are correct. It was the Booker.
Yay!
Shortlisted in 1972. Before the Women's Prize existed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. I bet Eric knew that as well.
So we're 3 down, and we're going to go with the next author, Beryl Bainbridge.
Guacamole.
Eric?
Booker.
I'm going to pass over to Brian.
I'm gonna go neither.
The answer is actually both.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
She was shortlisted for the Booker 5 times and never won it. And she was longlisted for the Women's Prize twice.
Right.
5 times. Wow.
Wow.
5 times.
I
From
feel
the
bad about
70s
myself.
on into the 90s.
Don't, Brian. Don't feel bad about yourself. You're okay.
It's all right. I'll get over it.
Poor Beryl was dubbed the bridesmaid of the Booker because
Oh, was
never
she?
won it, but...
Oh, there you go then.
Yeah. In fact, fun fact that I found out only today, because she was shortlisted 5 times for the Booker, they, I think in her honour maybe when she passed away, did like a special Booker Beryl where they chose a winner out of her 5 shortlisted books.
Oh.
That was nice.
So yeah, I never knew about that before today. So I think we've got one more author to do for this round. Is that right? And the author is Sarah Hall.
Howdy.
Brian.
Neither.
Passing it over to Eric.
So tense.
I'll just say Booker.
Oh, Booker.
It was both.
Oh no.
She was both shortlisted and longlisted for the Booker, and longlisted for the Women's Prize.
Can you tell I'm guessing yet?
It's all good, Brian. The Booker Prize round is ended now.
Okay, great.
So, how are we doing on the scores, ladies?
2 to Brian, 1 to Eric.
Mm.
I'm already completely satisfied.
Well, we have one more round, Brian.
All right.
I'm gonna ace this.
Is longlisted, shortlisted, or never? And this is just the Women's Prize we're talking about here.
And we do recognise the fact that if it has been shortlisted, it has also been longlisted. We want to preface that fact.
Okay.
We have worked that one out. And yes, and you can also tell us that somebody has won, but that would be a wild card if that's in there somewhere. It might be in there. But they may have been longlisted, shortlisted, or never listed. So are you ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
We've got 5 more authors. And the first one is Linda Grant.
Guacamole.
Eric.
She's been longlisted, shortlisted, and won the Women's Prize.
Correct. It was all 3.
Yeah, well done.
With multiple different books. So the next author is Anne Tyler.
Howdy.
Brian.
Long listed.
I'm going to pass over to Eric.
Yeah, I'll say never listed, I think.
Ooh, and she has in fact been shortlisted and longlisted.
Was she? Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for what book? Do you
Wasn't
remember?
Redhead?
Yeah, wasn't it?
So
Recently?
1996 for Ladder of Years was shortlisted. Digging to America and Spool of Blue Thread were also shortlisted.
Oh yeah,
she was
of course.
listed in 2004 for the Amateur Marriage. Can't read my writing.
That's That's terrible. She's a favorite author of mine, and actually, Ladder of Years is one of my favorite novels of all time. So I really should have known that.
I feel like
Bad
I feel like I
Nearly
wasted
9
my
o'clock
chance.
at night, and it's a work day evening, so you're completely fine, Eric. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Very nice.
So next up, we're going to have Kate Moss.
Guacamole.
Eric.
Never listed because she found it the prize.
She did find the prize. Yeah. It's a trick question, but not a trick for you. Well done.
You're basically tricking a 3-year-old over here. I hope you're happy with yourself.
Oh, Brian. Okay. So next up we have Joanne Harris.
Howdy.
Brian.
Long listed.
Correct. Well done.
Back in the game.
Long listed in 2002. And so are we on the last one?
Yeah.
Yep. So the
Whoever
last
gets this is
one.
the winner then.
Yeah.
Hmm?
This is the winning point.
The tension.
Oh,
No pressure.
all to play for. In the comments, can you all vote for your favourite buzzer? Because we might need a tiebreaker. So the final author is Anna Burns.
Howdy.
Brian.
Shortlisted.
Correct.
Yeah.
Twice.
Oh, yeah, you've done it.
Well done, Brian.
Thank
Very
you.
well done.
I think
That
that's the
was
only
nice,
one I was
though.
sure of.
Good time to be sure, though.
Yep.
That was very close though. So you both did really, really well.
Yeah.
So what were the scores? 4-3.
4-3, yeah.
Oh,
It was close. It was close.
I think that was our closest quiz so far.
I think it was.
Maybe.
Now you know how I passed college, guessing.
Take it till you make it. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yep. Answer with
Absolutely.
confidence.
My mum's in here to say that Ladder of Years is
Yay.
her favourite and Tyler too.
We are so in sync, Jane.
Yeah. Totally on all the same favourites tonight. So well done on the quiz, Brian and Eric.
Does Brian get
Very,
a
very good.
Does Brian get a prize?
You get our love.
Yeah.
Look, I'll get some.
Oh, I thought coffee ice cream.
He's gonna get it shipped.
You can
over.
have as much coffee ice cream as you want now, Brad.
Might not be too good by the time it gets to the USA.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. So yes, let us know in the comments because we're coming quite close to the end of our hour together. But if you do have any questions for Brian or Eric before we go, do let us know. And yeah, so Eric, you've completed your reading on the long list for this year, is that right?
Yeah, though I've not actually read every book on the long list. I've read all of them except for The Maiden. I've not read The Maiden, and I decided to DNF one of the books.
Oh, is that 8 Lives?
Yeah, 8 Lives. Yeah.
You didn't get on with that one, did you? I remember that.
I know. I'm
loved
sorry,
that.
Jam. I just. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
did
force
you
yourself.
read the rubbish sci-fi one?
I did, but I did not enjoy that.
So you tell me you read and finished the rubbish sci-fi, but you DNF'd 8 Lives.
I feel like, yeah, I know, which really surprised me. I thought I would get on with 8 Lives more, and I think I was just like, I don't know why with Blue Beautiful World, I just felt this like nagging persistence, like I have to make it to the end to see what is going on here and if it all makes sense. And I got to the end and it didn't all make sense to me. I was more confused than I was at the beginning. So that was a failure. And
I was going to skip that book, and then Jim called it rubbish, so now I feel like I have to read it.
Good luck with that, Brian.
I do think
it's
it's
had
a lesson
DNF
that you
across
shouldn't
the
force
board.
read yourself through like like the list. That the fun thing about the list is discovering new books. It's not like to make it a chore or to make it difficult. Like,
No,
absolutely, yeah.
we're all in favour of DNFing when you need to.
totally agree. Brian, do you have any plans to read any more of the shortlisted or longlisted books?
The only one that I've been curious about is The Maiden, just because like I'm kind of on this newfound born again historical fiction kick.
Yeah.
So I thought about that, but I haven't heard great things about it. So been a little hesitant. And then my reading's really slowed down this month. So for reasons. And so I'm not sure I'll get to another Women's Prize listed book. It's possible, but I'm not sure.
Do either of you guys, what would you guys pick? What would you to predict for the winner, even if you haven't read them all? But like,
oh, that was our next question.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to jump.
That's all right. No, I'm just saying that TK had asked as well.
Okay.
Do you have a prediction for the winner, Brian and Eric?
Sorry.
Yeah, I would like for a Soldier Sailor to win, but I have a feeling Inner Ghost is probably the one that's going to win, or just as complete dark horse. And Enright, just because I think she might be seen as a compromise choice if there's some kind of division within the judges group. So I predicted 3 books there, didn't I? Sorry.
You did.
You're allowed
you
to
predicted a full 50% of the shortlist.
Hey, you picked up on that I cheat from the quiz, right? That I just I don't feel confined to your rules.
There are no rules on this Plodalong. What about you, Eric?
50% of the books, Eric, that you want to predict?
I'll be definitive and say Enter Ghost. Yeah.
Ooh,
I do think that you're right. I do think that's the one that's going to win. If I was going to put a punt, I would say, yeah.
But I think it is actually quite tough to call. Like unlike last year, I don't have like total conviction that I think any of the books will be selected as the winner. I think it could just as easily be Claire Kilroy or River East, River West. So.
Was it Ben last week or somebody on the show who said they thought that Inner Ghost might win because it's the best one to reread?
Oh yeah.
Like since the judges have to read the books over again, I can see that because the further, up to a point, the further I got from having read it, the more I appreciated what the book I thought had done. Like in the moment, I thought, okay, it's good, and then like afterwards, when I thought about it more, I thought, wow, that was really good the way this was done, or all the different facets of Palestinian society were shown. Where I thought that was really, there's just a lot more going on than I appreciated in the moment of reading, I guess is what I would say.
I think it was Scott that said that, actually. I'm sure it was Scott.
Okay, yeah.
It could have been. Yeah. That's my next one up to read. I need to read that next.
I'm halfway through it at the moment. I thought it was quite slow starting, but it's got a way of hooking you in, I think, Enter Ghost.
And it definitely has like its own unique style as well, doesn't it? Like
for sure.
Yeah, it does.
Though I am also reading Hamlet at the moment, and it keeps spoiling the plot of Hamlet.
I was going to say, have you finished Hamlet first, or you've just gone straight into both?
No, and I haven't got to any of the like deaths and stuff that they've talked about to go. So I'm like, when are all these people going to die? I've only got like 1.5 acts left to go.
I don't want to spoil it, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, she loves a good death.
I love a good death, yeah.
That's why she's the host of Misery May.
Oh, there you go.
So, Angela of Date Lives. Zach's telling people to not forget to hit the like button. Thanks, Zach. And Zach's got a recommendation for you, Brian. The Mercies by Kieran Millward Hargrave is a great historical fiction.
That's what I was actually thinking of when you were saying about Hagstone, actually, because when you said about
yeah.
Because it kind of like gave me those vibes when you said about it.
Okay, thanks. Great. Appreciate the recommendation.
And Kia has heard great things about The Maiden outside of the Women's Prize. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's Katie's favourite book. It won from she loved that book, didn't she? She gave it 5 stars. I say it's her favourite book. She gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, she did give The Maiden 5 stars. Yeah.
All right then.
And she says, great recommendation, Zach. And Kia is saying Hamlet is my favourite Shakespeare, so it made me so happy. That's good. I really liked Hamlet, so I'm hoping that Enter Ghost will be good as well. can't remember what else I was going to say. Have either of you got any more questions, Jem or Charlie?
Oh, I have a question. Have either of you read any of the books from the non-fiction list?
Yes.
That's what I was going to ask.
I have. Let me get some.
Yeah, go get them.
So
And if you haven't read any, you go. You've got them there already there.
I'm very well prepared in my library of wonders here.
We love your library.
Yeah, these are the 4 I've read from the nonfiction shortlist, and I love them all for very different reasons.
Do you have a favorite
books?
If you had to be forced to pick one.
My favorite would be A Flat Place, but I think Doppelganger will win. So
that's interesting.
I wanted to read. Is it Thunderclap? Is that the one about?
Yeah,
that's the one I want to read most. And I thought about Flat Place as the other.
So those same 4 that Eric's got are the 4 that I've read or started. I'm still reading Thunderclap. My favourite so far is probably Thunderclap, even though I'm halfway through.
Oh, I loved
And
Thunderclap.
the one I think will win is How to Say Babylon.
But I'd be very happy with that result too.
But I do think Doppelganger could also be a winner.
Eric, did you like Doppelganger?
Sorry?
Eric, did you like Doppelganger?
Yes, a lot.
Okay.
It's so because it's such a personal story, but also so topical, like about the world today, of the way Naomi Klein looks at divisions in our society and why. And I found it especially fascinating in how she examines possible reasons why people who were formerly on like the far right, far left politically, why they might have done like an absolute like turnaround to a more extremist conservative position, or
that was why I was interested, that how Naomi Wolf, from being what she was like in the mid 90s to what she is now in terms of her politics and what she says. I'm tempted to say it's just all opportunism, but I'd have to read the book to find out what Naomi Klein says.
I mean, it's partly that, but yeah, she goes into a lot more reasons to do with like online culture, but also with recent events in the world and lockdown and how that's affected everyone, and how she follows Naomi Wolf's journey in particular, and her personal like weird relationship with Naomi Wolf over time, and her being a kind of double for her is so fascinating. So yeah, I'd really recommend reading it. I think it's an absolutely excellent book, and I'd be very happy for it to win, I think it will win, but personally, just like A Flat Place, it like I personally connected with it so much, and it like made me think about like my own issues and like dealing with my own issues, and so that's why it's kind of like more my personal favorite. But
that's really good when a book does that.
My reason for not reading A Flat Place yet is I live in a flat place and I love the mountains, so I thought that would be prejudice against the book. So,
but it's actually a nice thing in it that I think she talks about how just for her personally, this is the kind of environment that she responds to, and she totally recognizes that everyone has their own different kind of environmental situations that they connect with and find comforting. So yeah, I
thought it was interesting in The Flat Place how she would get to places that people who live there and things consider incredibly flat, and she's like, this is not quite flat enough. I would like there to not be a hill, preferably at all. That was interesting book, very interesting. TK has also read Thunderclap, Flat Place, and How to Say Babylon, loved all 3, and thinks Babylon will win.
It's been such a great long list. I think the non-fiction long list was so exciting to us, and we were so excited to build up to it as well. And then actually seeing what was on there, it's just such a great list. So yeah, I'm so glad that they've done that this year. It's been a wonderful addition to the prize.
Yeah, it's been so great. Although it has doubled everyone's reading.
I think there was a bit more space between them.
Yeah.
So
That many books. 32 books. Gosh.
Yeah.
It's a lot of books, definitely. But enjoyable to be able to dip into them and pick out ones that we've...
And just have it as a year, like a project for the year. You can just make your way through them.
Oh, I'm definitely going to keep dipping into the long list. I'd like to read the short list, but I would also, over time, like to get to most of the long list, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you very, very much for chatting to us today, Brian and
Thank you for having
Eric.
me.
It's been lovely to have you on the show again. And for the first time, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with our quizzes and ice cream questions.
Sure. Glad I could get the technical stuff worked out at the beginning there. Sorry.
Oh, you did brilliantly. Don't worry.
We're very, very glad that you rejoined us, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who's been in the comments. You've been wonderful. And
the next one's over on the next one's going to be over on my show, my channel.
The Charlie Show.
And I do have a banner. And we're hoping that Jotsna from Jotsna's Bookscapades will join us.
If not, it'll just be like probably like old style.
Yeah.
Doing like reading plods and just like a little natter catch up with you guys and
yeah.
It's more casual.
So yes, we will probably have some time for reading that day. So bring a book
on a Sunday morning.
Coming along. And look out on our
Instagram and
community tabs.
Yes, that's it. We'll say bye to everyone, and we've got a few people saying thank you and goodbye.
Well,
bye. And
bye, everyone.
We'll chat to you all soon. Thanks.
Yeah,
everybody.
and thank you so much for having me, and also just want to say it's a thrill talking to Brian in real time in person too, because big fan of your channel and
so. I appreciate it. I can't believe I wasn't more tongue tied than I was. So thanks, Eric.
Excellent. Thank you to you both, and thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.